Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. How's everybody getting along? Thank you for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather Eastern and Weather Northeastern. Yes, we got a tremendous system that's going to be coming in first to the Texas area and back east here. So, yeah, we're going to have some big old severe weather for your Friday. So, yeah, more severe weather as long as the East Coast as well. But watch this. As we put this into motion, this is where things get a little bit real here. Take a look at this. We got a developing low pressure system, and we got this northern stream branch. So we got these two pieces of energy that are going to come into play here. And as we kick this to the east, watch what happens here for the weekend. Look at this. Yeah, we have two pieces of energy here. We are going to have some explosive potentially development here along the U.S. East Coast, or just inland for that matter. It's you know, this looks very much like winter. We got this big old low hanging back here, and look at this inland low tracking up like this. So somewhere in here, there's going to be a massive low come late weekend into early next week, and we're going to be looking at the potential here for some moderate to heavy rainfall here. And look at that upper level low just taking over. That is going to control our weather for the next half a month. Let's get into it. And what's exactly going on with precipitation amounts across the east? They are going insane, especially from the deep south all the way up the coastline here in interior portions of New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and New England. Look at this. If you get into some of these red areas, yeah, you could be approaching 4 to 5 inches, especially if this coastal or inland system takes effect. And if you take a look what I'm looking for, this is my outlook for the Susquehanna River Valley and the Northeast for that matter. 3 to 4 inches of rain. I think the low pressure is going to ride up just west to the I-95 corridor here across the Northeast. And that's going to keep the heaviest rain here across much of eastern Pennsylvania, central Maryland, central Virginia, and then upwards of 4 to 5 inches just immediately just northwest of where that low pressure system rides up here in the Northeast. Another area up here in Maine. And look at this, a massive solid area, 2 to 3 inches. That's still a lot of rain. I'm not expecting major flooding on, say, the Susquehanna River and all the other major tributaries, but some of the smaller creeks and streams, we could have some problems. So, severe weather here for your Friday. Yeah, there it is again. Dallas-Fort Worth area on southward and much of southern and eastern Texas as well. Look at these regions here. Yeah, we're going to be looking at a tremendous enhanced severe weather outbreak here around the Dallas-Waco area, just north of Austin. And then look at here, a big area of slight, even including Houston, San Antonio. Yeah, Corpus Christi. We're going to be looking at damaging wind, large hail, up to baseball-sized hail, and tornado threat. Look at this. Yeah, so please heed those warnings, watches, and anything in between here. And we're going to be looking at severe weather here along the East Coast as well. It will be a marginal threat for your Friday. And here we go for the SigTor parameter here across central Texas. Take a look at this. So as we get 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m. Friday here, look at this. It's off the chart. We're going towards a SigTor here in the blue zones towards 7 to 8. That is an insane amount of level. This is the same areas that got hit the other day. So please heed those tornado watches and warnings. We'll be with us mostly into the red zones here, 3 to 4 on the SigTor scale here, 6 p.m. as we go into evening. And look at that. Yeah, you're still dealing with a nocturnal tornado threat as we head towards San Antonio. Even towards midnight Friday night. All right, so showing you the future radar here. Take a look at this. So, yeah, we're going to have rain developing, throughout the night, Friday or Thursday night into Friday morning here. Take a look at this. So, heavy rain moving up into the Ohio Valley and also the Virginias here. And then eventually southern Pennsylvania as we head towards 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and then there it is, afternoon, 2 p.m. So this is the first slug of moisture with the initial low pressure system hanging out back here, bringing up all this tropical moisture. You can see for, Saturday, heading on into the weekend across the Northeast, we are going to be just wet. Take a look at this. 5 p.m. Saturday, yeah, it's going to be very gloomy across the region. And 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., you can see the shield of rain. But look what's behind it here. We actually see some thunderstorms here. Some of these could be a little bit strong. We're not looking at a severe weather outbreak, but look at this. Towards Saturday evening, we could have some inclement weather out there, just to keep you updated there. And look at that, as we continue in time, it becomes more of, these heavy rain bands that kind of move in from the southwest. This is 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Sunday morning here. Take a look at this. So we get redevelopment of this heavy rain, and we look forward to the prospect that we might have either a coastal low or a low that moves just inland, very similar to a winter-like pattern. So we're going to continue with this moisture. Look at this back here across parts of Ohio. We have a line of thunder showers and thunderstorms moving through. Some of these could contain wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour. Those actually move through the Cleveland area Sunday night, towards 10, 11 p.m. So watch out for that. There is a clearing trend there, but look what's waiting down here. This is our secondary big old low that might make a run either up inland or just along the coast. And behind that, I wanted to show you the chance for those strong to severe thunderstorms. It's primarily going to be across the Florida Peninsula here as we head throughout 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Saturday or Friday afternoon here. And we have a big old area out in the Gulf here that we'll be watching. But look at this. We might have some isolated showers or thunder showers here. And we'll have to watch this area as we go into the afternoon, evening hours. Some of these could contain damaging wind, large hail. You see some of them really start to get going here across the Carolinas. We got some isolated cells here. So, it's not a widespread severe weather outbreak, but we'll definitely have to watch out for that. Now, the big show here is going to be across Texas. Let's rewind this to, here it is. We're going into Friday morning here, or Friday afternoon. Here it is, the 28th. So take a look at this. Let's actually rewind it here. So, yeah. You got this big old piece of energy here across the Four Corners region that's going to be heading towards Texas here. So this is noon. So nothing's really going on except some showers up there, keeping the temperatures down across Oklahoma. Now watch what starts to fire here in that Cape, in that SigTor parameters. We have the veering of the winds with height. And look at this explosive line of showers and thunderstorms. And some of these could contain tornadic type situations. Now, let's see. Some of these, it seems more linear in nature, but you can still get some pretty big tornadoes, out of these. And take a look at that. Right up towards Dallas, we start to see towards 10 p.m. So Friday evening, if you have any plans here across Central Texas, you might want to cancel them for the most part because it is going to be a rough evening and into the night. Look at this. We'll be dealing with tornadic development as far south as San Antonio as we head towards 1 a.m. Saturday morning. So this becomes a nocturnal event and it kind of weakens here as it heads to the east, kind of washes out. But we still will probably have some warnings as we head towards Houston and Tyler, Texas here up toward just south of Texarkana. So it becomes more of a heavy rain threat as we head throughout the night into Saturday morning. There's 11 a.m. So we start to get some of these thunderstorms. Look at this. Pretty strong. Even there southeast of New Orleans, some pretty heavy rains developing there. And look at that. Louisiana into the panhandle of Florida. And look at that. The eastern Florida peninsula as well. Really filling in with showers and thunderstorms. All right. So let's take a look at the synoptic view of this system. There it is. Heading on into 5 p.m. Friday, you're getting out of work there in the Northeast. I showed you this on the Mesoscale models. Pretty similar. And then we head throughout. So there is Saturday into Sunday here. So there we go. We're into Sunday morning at 8 a.m. Big old slug of moisture here across the central and southern Susquehanna River Valley here. Take a look at that. So yeah, the big story here is what is coming down the pike here. Look at this. So we have the low pressure system developing somewhere in this vicinity here. So watch this. The two systems are going to try to combine forces. We'll just see how this works. So there it is. As we head throughout 11 a.m. Saturday or Sunday, there's 2 p.m. Sunday. So the big old slug of moisture, you see somewhere in here, there's a low pressure system. It's moving up like this. And lots of rain to the east and to the north of this circulation. So watch this as we continue to put this into motion. Yeah, so this is 5 p.m. Sunday. There is 8 p.m. There is going to be some pretty heavy rain somewhere just off the coast, but primarily to the northwest of where this low pressure system rides. So if you're in, that right now it's setting up just west of the Susquehanna River Valley towards Elmira, New York, Ithaca, Syracuse. This could be a little bit further east or just slightly west, depending on the exact track of this low pressure system. But it's going to be tracking up, some of the models take it just off the coast. Most are inland at this point. But look at this. This is by 11 p.m. Sunday night. Yeah, that's a lot of heavy rain here across the Susquehanna River Valley, eastward to the Hudson River Valley. We're going to be looking at those exact rainfall amounts, or at least the ballpark figures of what we're expecting. But the good news is this is a pretty fast mover by 8 a.m. on Monday morning, May 1st. Yeah, we are looking at this system moving to the northeast pretty quickly here, but that upper level low is going to hold back here just north of the Great Lakes. And that's just going to pinwheel clouds and rain showers downwind of it. Yeah, and that's just going to keep the systems pinwheeling. And we'll have, flare-ups here along the coast from time to time. This almost looks like an Alberta clipper. This looks more like wintertime than it does, say, into early to mid-spring. And look at that. We see another system may try to make a run up the U.S. East Coast. This is May 4th, so this is next Thursday. So definitely something we got to keep an eye on this time of year, especially when these systems head out over the Gulf Stream. We might have some sort of subtropical development. But there it is. You see kind of a nor'easter type style system as we approach next weekend as well. So as we take a look at the upper level height anomalies here, gives us a good idea of upstairs so we can figure out what's going on downstairs on the ground. So look at this. As we head into the weekend, watch this trough just blossom across the U.S. East Coast here and across the Great Lakes. This is an actual negatively tilted trough. You can see the orientation is southeast to northwest here. That is a strong trough, and that's going to keep things extremely stormy, and that's what's going to give rise to that massive low-pressure system that rides just inland up the coast, just inland of the coast here. So you technically can't call it like a nor'easter type storm, even though it's pretty darn strong. But nevertheless, this is going to be the pattern that we're going to be dealing with at least through the next 10 to 20 days. Look at this. It just kind of hangs out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There's evidence, it starts to pinwheel around. Look at the blocking, though. Starts to move towards the north central part of North America by this point. But, by this point, we're approaching May 7th, so the damage has already been done. So let's take a look at King Euro here. As we take a look here, I showed you under the Synoptic and Mesoscale views here, but I'm showing you here on the surface plot here. So here's that low pressure system. This is Friday morning heading up towards the Ohio Valley. That's the first low. Now see this slug of moisture here in the southeast? You have this next low coming out. Look at that snow in south central Colorado here. So watch this. Let's just back this up here. So as we go throughout the day on Friday, you can see what happens here. This low across the Ohio Valley washes out. You try to get some secondary development along the coast here, but it just doesn't happen very much. We start to get a little bit of development of low, but there's that big old severe weather outbreak across parts of Texas. And as we go throughout, look at that, across most of the Gulf of Mexico is lighting up. You have to watch that this time of year. We could get something subtropical forming out of it. I don't see anything at the moment, but it is interesting to see if any storms out there come across the Gulf of Mexico and hang out a little bit. You could get some development. But here it is as we continue throughout the day, Saturday into Sunday. Look what starts to happen in the southeast. There's that tremendous storm. There's our two pieces of energy, one across the Great Lakes with that upper low, and then one across the southeast. Now watch what happens here in the European shows here. Now the GFS took it slightly inland. Look at this, Sunday. So this is Sunday afternoon, early afternoon. Lots of rain spreading to the north here of this low pressure system. So you're really getting in on the act of some moderate to heavy rain. And that's just that slug of moisture moves right up the spine of the Appalachians. So, the two models are pretty much in agreement that we're going to have a low pressure system ride just west of the I-95 corridor. So that's going to be really interesting. A 984 millibar low right over Washington, D.C., say Sunday night here. Sunday evening. Look at that. That's some heavy rain to the northwest and north of where this low tracks. It is going to be the area of heavy rain. You will get some heavy rain on the east side of this system as well. Look at this. This is really early on Monday morning. So you're going to get some wraparound moisture as well. Susquehanna Valley, points just westward and eastward, will get pummeled with a lot of rainfall here, and then lots of rain here into New England as well. We'll get a dry slot, it looks like, here into parts of the Hudson Valley temporarily before the wraparound makes it in later Monday morning. But look at that system really winding up here into the northeast, becoming a massive strung out 977 millibar low. Wintry precipitation on the back edge of this. You can just see this is going to be a massive comma shaped on the satellite photo, and that's just going to wash out throughout the week. It's just going to create a massive trough once again here across the east, bringing us lots of chances of storminess. Systems will pinwheel around this upper level low, and we will not be able to get rid of this because there will be massive blocking up there in Greenland, preventing the system from going anywhere. Look at that. Until later on the week, we start to see maybe a little bit of hope. The system might try to, this pattern might try to break down a little bit, but you know what? The evidence is still there. The writing is on the wall. Troughiness continuing across the northeast And look at this here across parts of the southern plains. Another low pressure system. But, at this point of the game, it looks a little bit quieter mid to late week next week. So look, total liquid equivalent precipitation. Look at that. Friday into Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And look at that. Wow. That's a lot of rainfall here. We'll just take you through late Tuesday evening here. Look at this. This is an insane amount of rainfall here, especially from the panhandle of Florida, parts of central Florida, all the way up the U.S. East Coast here. There's areas that could see a solid 2, 3, maybe in those yellow shadings, as much as 4, and the orange shadings as much as 5. So please, if you get under a flash flood warning or flood watch, please, if you're in a low-lying area, heed those watches and warnings. And if we take a look at the GFS, we're just going to compare. Let's get the latest GFS. There we go. That's better. So look at that. Yeah, that is very similar here. We'll just take it through. There we go. Late Tuesday evening. But once again, this is lining up very nicely with the European model. A solid 2 to 3 inches, just as I was fearing here, with upwards of maybe 4 to 5 inches in some of these yellow to orange shading areas. So GFS here for the Northeast, here it is. So that's just through, that's Saturday's precipitation, an inch or less, south central Pennsylvania. Oh, but look at this. Yeah, you get into Sunday night into Monday. This is where we're going to see a lot of rainfall. This takes us just through late Tuesday evening. There we go. So yeah, if you're pretty much in these red zones, this is just inland of the Northeast here. This is 2 to 3 inches of rain. Susquehanna River Valley points west and east here. I-81 corridor of New York and Pennsylvania here. You're going to be look at that. Yeah, we'll have to watch out for these bullseyes. There's a bullseye in central Pennsylvania, 2 of 4+ inches. I'm not expecting a major flooding event, but, there could be some minor flooding and flash flooding occurring in some areas. And as we take a look at the high-resolution European model here for the Northeast, there's through just Saturday into early Sunday, and then look at that, Sunday night, Monday, and Tuesday. So yeah, this is a little bit less in some parts of upstate New York, northern New York and Vermont, but it's a little bit further to the west here. You can see the axis of heaviest precipitation, heaviest rainfall, 2 to 3 inches in these yellow areas. That's a little bit troubling, upwards of 4+. Also here up towards Maine as well. All right, so let's take a look at the Atlantic tropical outlook here. What is going on? So we don't have a whole lot going on here across the tropics yet. We'll watch these systems into the Gulf of Mexico. Sometimes we can get a flare-up this time of year. But please stay tuned. I am coming out with my Hurricane 2023 outlook coming out in just days from now. So I'll show you how many storms I'm expecting this Atlantic hurricane season. And as we get out to the Western Pacific here, things are looking pretty quiet until you get out to the Intertropical Convergence Zone right out here into the Central Pacific. So you know what? From China over to Vietnam, Philippines, you've been pretty darn lucky so far. There's been nothing to be had here. Japan, you've been dealing with those westerly storms that kick up. And look at this, across the Philippines, things look pretty nice. It's like high pressure is literally protecting you. This is through May 5th. Yeah, so there's our last frame on May 5th. It's actually looking pretty nice. All right, so TGIF here across the east. Yep, the temperatures will be on the rise here. We do have a little cool area across the mid-Atlantic into the 50s where we'll be held down by the clouds and the rainfall moving in from the south. But look at that, Texas here, especially southern Texas, unless you live in the Panhandle 50s. Look at that, 90s here in South Texas. Also some mid to upper 80s near 90 across southern part of Florida. But look at this as we head into Saturday. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. It could be a lot worse. There's the cool areas here. Cool areas with the clouds and the rain here into the northeast, holding down temperatures into the 50s. But look at this as we head towards Sunday. Yeah, cold air coming in behind this system. But look at that. We see a surge of 60s, mid to upper 60s across interior New York and Pennsylvania. Look what's forming out west here, though. We have those big, massive, thermal high-pressure systems here. And look at that. We're getting into the hundreds here in Southern California and Arizona. And look at that. That's going to start spreading east as we head throughout next week here. We'll take a look at this as we head into May 1st, Monday. Look at this. Yeah, you can see where the trough is, keeping temperatures actually down into the 40s, north of this line. Look at this. This area is going to be feeling cold, and you might have some wet snowflakes in the air as well. That's actually going to head east as we head throughout the week. This is Tuesday, May 2nd. Look at this area of 40s just pushing towards the U.S. Northeast coast here. So it's going to be feeling pretty darn cold here across the east. You can see, look at this. We rocket up into the 70s and 80s, but we're stuck here into the 50s and even some 40s across interior parts of the Northeast. Extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton to Scranton's Upper Susquehanna River Valley. Take a look at this. Friday through Tuesday. Yeah, Friday the clouds roll in, chance of showers after 5 p.m. Less than 1/10 of an inch, heading up towards 61 after a low of 39. But look at this. Saturday, the rain and wind move in. The first slug of moisture with the Ohio low moves in up to 53, winds gusting upwards of 25 miles an hour. Only making it to 53, but 1/4 to an inch of rain likely. Take a look at that into Sunday. Rain really arriving really heavy later in the day. Chance of thunderstorms mixing in as well. This is where we start to get the coastal, well, if you want to call it an inland type low, that's where the rain starts to get heavy. 1.25 inches as we head throughout Sunday night into Monday. Another inch, particularly before 10 a.m. on Monday morning, turning windy as well. Into Tuesday as well, rain showers continuing up to another 1/4 inch of rain. Thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather Northeastern and Weather Eastern. Don't forget Facebook MeteoMark, Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern, at Susquehanna Weather for my local page. And guess what? MeteoMark.com, WeatherNortheastern.com is Twitter at Weather Eastern. Don't forget, question or comment down below. Smash that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell button, share the video. And thanks for joining me.